Hey everybody! Now you're going to get a very excited Aussie here tonight, and I'm really sorry because I'm pretty excited to be here and I'm pretty sure my family is too, but I can guarantee you the people that are involved with this horse are probably equally as excited as I am. Now this is Ferramo, and this was the reason why I went to Europe in the first place, but a bit of bad luck and an injury resulted in him being brought back to Australia to recuperate and possibly retire. Now, thankfully for some pretty spectacular people who are sitting up here somewhere, I don't know where they're sitting, including the Judy Dirks and her family at the stables, James Whitfield and Rodney Brazel have got this horse back together, and I'm very excited to be bringing him back here tonight for my first ride back, but after a successful career but returned to the sport with Judy. So now, I thought I'd start with the basics, because one thing I've learned more than anything, and you have to excuse my nose because I've got a cold, but is basics. It's so underestimated, the importance of basics and stretching, and I can often spend 3 days a week doing just this. So what I do, can I be slow? Can I stretch him? Can I go quick? Can he respond off my leg? And that, for me, is the essential basis of everyday training that everybody, including me and including every top rider out there, may speed through. So this, for me, is really important. You have to question yourself. Never trust in everything that you think is the right thing. You have to question things, build on things, vary things, because we don't want to be in a bubble. I don't want to stay where I am the whole time. I want to get better, and that means fine-tuning. And this is what the basics are all about. Good boy. Can I see, like there, I went almost back to walk, but he didn't, and I was able to go forward. And that for me means he's in front of the leg and on the bit and feeling through. So this is really important for me, which brings into the first step. I was thinking of something a bit catchy that everyone would remember something from my clinic, and it's 4 R's. So that sounds good to me, I thought. So the first one is reaction. Now, I don't want to use a whip unless I have to. Got 2 hands, got 2 legs, got an arse. I need to use those. Now, my dad says I hold a whip like a mascara wand anyway, so maybe he's right, so maybe I'm not so effective with that. So I rely on what God gave me, and that's what to get them in front of the leg. So I'll give you a demonstration. Good boy, oh. Now, if I want him to go forward, I want the lightest possible aid, because this is dressage, we're not wrestling. So then if I do a light aid and go forward, good boy. And this is the thing. When I want to go forward and have a response, I want a positive response. If that's trot, if that's canter, I want to go. And if he goes, I reward him. So that's number 2, reward. Because with repetition, the 3rd R, then you have the basis of training, which encourages your horse to do things by themselves without us doing all the work for them, and we work in unison and together. And that's what it's about. It's partnership. It's not about me dictating him or him doing the same thing back to me. This is what it's all about for me, and that's why it's so rewarding. I think that's why everybody here would get up in the morning wanting to ride, because that's what we love, the partnership between the horse and the rider. So that's my 3 R's, the beginning of the 3s. So responsiveness, does he go off the leg? Good boy. Reward, number 2. 3, repetition. Don't accept that one aid or one transition is enough. Always keep going, always think of those transitions, and that will keep things better. And the 4th one, before I start doing some movements, before you die of boredom of me talking, or Rami wants to do them himself, good boy, is responsibility. Good boy, yeah, that's good. He's already bored of me talking. So responsibility is something I take pretty seriously. Oh, you're fine. And that's something to do with everything in our lives as dressage riders. And that's as looking after our horses, our attitudes, the way in which we ride, the way in which we treat each other as professionals. Everything in our lives, responsibility. If you don't have that, then we don't deserve to have these awesome horses to ride, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my 4 R's. That's something different maybe that you haven't thought about, and I hope you take that with you. Now for the fun stuff. Good boy. I use a lot of voice commands as well. I talk a lot to my horses. I have a couple of basic aids that I use. One's ho, if you've got a hot one. So anyone with a jazz knows what that means. Then I've got, good boy, sorry mate. And that I use in piaffe to get a bit more in front of the leg, good boy. That for me is the only 2 real aids I do, ho and good. And if I train it with a leg aid, I want reaction. I don't want to be squeezing. So Rod, should we do some movements? I can have a breath. Or you can talk.
Oh,
you're too quiet over there.
I can do that
I'm not
quite
used
well.
to it.
I was thinking whether I couldn't join your R's with Roger. Do I count?
Roger in red, 2 R's.
That's it, 2 R's. But we're getting quite a lot of R's here, but I think your thoughts about responsibility are sensational. Your responsibility to your horse, his care every day. I know Lyndal goes without saying how much responsibility she takes on to look after horses. She said to me before she came here, got on the plane to fly out, I've been to Gothenburg, she had to get up early, true or false, Lyndal, to make sure that they were clipped, washed and in clean rugs. True or false?
True. I got back to the house at 1 o'clock and I was up at 5.
Making certain that when she left to fly out that her horse was immaculately clean, all trimmed up, just like the show hacked her to go to Royal Show. And it just shows her responsibility to herself and to the way her horses are looked after. And this is a prime example. Came back here looking to retire and with a huge responsibility and repair, another R, repair. And with great care from everyone. We can go on all night about R's, but also without her family back here, and I know Carol, especially on the property at home, loves this horse dearly, and I saw it in the stables the other day. They have a great partnership themselves. So great to see him back here, and we'll continue on. Thanks, Lyndal. Now you've got a breath.
Thanks, mate. Now, preparation is massive, and this is something I've really learned, because I used to go across the diagonal and go, okay, it's a half pass here, let's do a half pass. It's not good enough. You've got to be able to go up in shoulder 4. Can you go quicker? Good boy. Can you get them more above your open frame? Can you do the corner? Then, I'll try and show you. Through the corner, do a bit of shoulder 4. Make sure he's going good on the inside rein, and then I'm going to go across. But I want him to respond. I don't want to just drag along. So I go more quick. Can I go slower? Can I give the reins? So it may not look the prettiest thing in the world to watch, and maybe it's not perfection, but it's improvement and it's training, because you'll see the finished product from everybody else tonight. I'm showing you how you get it. So same thing, shoulder 4, and to the right. Good boy. Good boy.
That looks pretty good.
That response I like better. This way's a little bit easier. Good boy. Good boy. And changes. This is I learned from Patrick. Not that I'm going to sit like Patrick. Anyone watch Patrick? I won't do it, it's ugly. But Patrick uses more upper body than I do. Good boy. Good boy.
Oh, well done.
Good boy. So I like them to jump. I also use a little bit more inside rein than maybe other people do to lift the inside shoulder up, because that's important to me, because I don't want them flat. I want half passes like Sandra Boy does on any horse I ride, which may be a bit difficult because he looks built like Gumby, but I can aim for it. Something to aim for. It's like I remember Marie Tompkins on the night when she won the Domestic Athlete of the Year. She goes, I want to piaffe like Tortillas for a 10. And I've got 8.5 right now, so I'm not coming back into the arena until I get that. That's pretty logical if you ask me. And if she gets a 10 for piaffe of like Tortillas, I'll be damn well respectful. Good boy. It's all right. Good boy. Now there he backed off. I'm sure most people saw that. And I want it more in front of the leg. So I want response again. Good boy. And a voice reward or a pat is fine. Good boy. And then we go again. But I don't want just changes. I want them forward. I want them on my aids. Good boy. Come on. Sometimes you have to go through it to get them more positive. Good boy. Good boy. Oh no, I'm not happy with that, trust me. I'm a perfectionist. But the A response was better. I hope someone was able to see that, because that's what means that I'm showing you what I want. And then
well
you
done.
get changes.
Well done.
Otherwise, they're not worth doing. I always like them to have a bit of fun too, because let's face it, being in a 60 by 20 arena sometimes can be a bit monotonous. So if they can have a bit of fun in the meantime, then I'm happy. Good boy.
Lyndal, how many times have you ridden him since you returned home?
3.5.
3.5. This is number 4 ride. It's fantastic. And does he feel like the old horse you had in Europe?
He was a stallion when I was in Europe. So he had a little bit more of his own mind, let's say.
Yeah.
But he's much happier in Australia. He likes the sun. He likes being out in the paddock, which in Europe's not so easy to do all the time because it's damn cold.
Yeah, exactly. And you get a dribbly nose, huh?
No, but he loves it. So he's good here. He's well looked after, and I'm lucky enough to sit on him in between. That makes me happy. So should we do a bit of pee and pa?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Now, I like to try and do it without a whip in training, but he hasn't been back in work for so long, so I'll give it a whirl. Otherwise, I pick it up, because I don't believe in using it all the time. It desensitizes them. I don't have big spurs, I have little spurs. I don't have a whip. So I'd rather make a mistake, because I don't think there's anything wrong with making mistakes in training, so long as it's positive and improvement, and you're creating a foundation for the horses to improve and develop more confidence. So for me, less is more. Not shy up be said for my face. All right, you. Let's do this, huh? Good boy. So I don't know whether you can hear, I do a light click, and that keeps him thinking forward. Good, yeah, now he wants to do it. Good boy. I never, ever say no if he offers it in training, because I want him to think that it's not such a big problem to do it. I want him to want to do it, and I don't believe that hindering that enthusiasm is going to get me any further in the future, I think. Okay, in training, in competition, it's a little bit different, but we're not competing tonight, are we? Good boy. So I like to, so you can see right now, I can take my legs off, and I want to be able to, because I don't want to squeeze. If he stops or gets slower, I want to use my leg at that point and make it more effective, so that I can cruise along. Good boy. And if I click, I want it to be quicker. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good man. And if I'm lucky, I can make it bigger, because I don't want just one piaffe or one passage. I want a forward piaffe. I want a quicker passage. I want to be able to vary it, because anyone that knows anything about riding a hot horse knows that you have to have control. And I'm not saying he's hot, but it's the same on any horse. If you have a problem and go across a diagonal, you need to make sure that you can contain that movement or adjust if you need to as best you can. So if I'm going to shy at that, I want him to go more quicker past it. I want him to be listening to me at all the time, so I dictate where we're going and go with that. Good boy. Oh, I can passage up the centre line.
Looks great, I've got to say. Such great hind leg, really active, and he looks like he's really having fun with it. It's not like it's hard work at all. Whoa, that looks great. I'm sure a bit of enthusiasm from the crowd will certainly help Ferrano with his passage. He's such a cool dude, huh?
Oh, he doesn't. He's got a great attitude. That's what I love about him. Okay, he hasn't been in work so long this time either, because he hurt himself here in the Nationals last year. So he's not in full work yet. He's not fit. But he's got a willingness and a positivity that I don't want to hinder.
So Lyndal, tell us, while you're having another breather quickly, what's this special relationship, and what do you feel about when you ride Sandro Boy? I mean, I've only seen photos, I've seen him on video, I haven't seen him in the real, which is a shame, but I will, don't worry. But the photos I've seen of him doing half pass are like Oh my goodness me, I can't imagine what that would be like to ride. It just gives a little insight into your feeling about riding such a super horse.
No, of course. When I got him, I don't know whether people know this, but he was actually Prix St George horse. No Piaf Passage, no one Tempies. It was quite raw, well looked after and loved by a very sweet family. Thank God they were nice and liked me, because I don't think I would have got the opportunity. So then I grabbed the opportunity to ride Sandra Boy, and from the first day I ever rode that horse, I had that connection. You know, when you just feel like that's your horse. It's hard to describe, but anyone that has it knows what it is. And so from the first day, he's so elastic, and he uses his body. Like, this horse is a bit more stable. He keeps everything a bit more still. But Sandra Boy is like a big Gumby. Everything's loose. There's so much movement with a huge canter and a big walk and expressive trot. So I have to contain that all the time, and that means sometimes, and if anyone who watched most of my Grand Prix at the Olympics realised that I didn't quite have it on the bit, which is true, I fully admit it. I was sick as a dog then too. But I learned from my mistakes, but the thing is with Sandra Boy, he's so green and so young that everything he's offering is pure. It's not forced, it's not created, it's not established, it's what he wants to offer me. And so I'm pretty thankful for that. But the half pass, I can't say it's anything to do with me, sadly. It's got everything to do with him, because he is phenomenal in that, in trot and in canter. But since the Olympics and the World Cup qualifiers, he's become much better in other things, like the Piaf Passage, because he used to have a bit of a slower rhythm in one hind leg, but now it's quicker and pushing through, and the Piaf is sitting more, and I can do the steps on the spot. But that takes time. It's not going to come overnight. That's the sad bit. We all know it's there and you want to play with it, but you can't. You just have to take what you get at that time and develop things on from there, because it's not, you're not going to get 80% the first test you ever go to, which is one of Roger's and my favourite horses is Damon Hill. And Helen's a lovely, lovely girl. And I was there when Helen did her first ever Grand Prix with Damon Hill. And it wasn't that flash, let me tell you. She rode well, but it wasn't established. It was raw talent. It was everywhere. It wasn't poetry and motion. And I think she won with probably a 68 that day. And everyone left going, oh yeah, she's not going to do it. Look now, World Cup champion, an absolute freak of nature and winning everything. So I'm really happy for that. But it shows you, or it shows me, that anything's possible if you work damn hard and believe in it. And that's what she does. And I take that same mentality, and I'm sure most of the riders here do. Okay, you've got to have a good horse, and we're never all going to have someone like Damon Hill. But we can at least know that through progression and training and focusing on our basics and improving, we all have a chance of getting much better.
Absolutely, and Lyndal, for sure, I know that your success, you've had beautiful horses under you, but my goodness me, it's come from hard work and dedication, and I don't know anyone that's worked as hard as you have, Lyndal, with your riding and your training and your enthusiasm. It's an absolute credit to you, your family and everyone, but it's come from hard work, believe me. I know what a worker you are.
Thanks, Rog. No, everyone works hard. I don't think anyone gets there without perseverance and hard work, and I don't care how much money everybody has in this world. You can have the best horse in the world, unless you put the work in and the miles and the hours of training and love and attention and basic hard work that everyone wants to do and should do, then you're not going to get anywhere. I believe it takes a package deal to get there, and if you don't put your bid in, then you don't deserve to get there anyway.
So Lyndal, what's your goal? I mean, we all have goals. You know, I like to get my horse up to Grand Prix if my life allows me enough time. But your goal, being young and beautiful and such a talented rider and still improving so much with a good horse like Sandra Boy, can you let us into a little secret about what maybe your goal is in the coming years?
Oh, I want to be at Normandy next year. That's big of importance to me. And if I can get to the final there, I'd be very happy. And I don't see why not. Brett Parbury's done it in the past, and he's a damn good legend, if you ask me, and works his butt off. And so if Brett can do it, then I sure as hell want to too. So I'm thinking that that's my next aim as far as Sandra Boy is concerned, but there's a few steps in that process. I'm number 44 in the world right now, and so I'm pretty chuffed about that. But my original aim was to be...
That is fantastic. Number 44 is my favourite number too, Lyndal, so it's a good spot to be.
I like it. I was aiming for over 50, so I was like 44, yes.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations for all of us. It's an amazing feat to get to that level.
But I'm not finished yet. I'm on a mission. But actually, that reminds me of something. I don't know whether you remember, but I used to have a horse called Anton, or H. Anagram.
I remember Anton.
Yeah, and you judged me once. Do you remember that?
I do indeed.
And so I've had two most memorable test papers in my life. The first one came from Rog.
I don't think it was for great mark somehow, Lyndal.
I was 63%.
Oh, it was a good mark.
But I deserved less. But what was good about that test paper was that Rog gave me 8s when I deserved them, so maybe there was 1 in there. But I did something appalling, and it was terrible. And he gave me a 3. And then I found that so much more satisfying, and I learnt so much more from that than someone giving me 6. Because I can't stand that. And if you're in Germany and you're riding around in Germany, and there's in those indoors, I tell you, you get some very non-positive people going, ugh, 6. So you don't come out feeling like you've done a good job. But the other one, it's actually someone who was also here, is Katharina Wüst from Germany. And she actually gave me a really interesting test paper with Sandra Boy early on. I think it was in his second international. And she took the time to did every single one of those boxes and told me what I could do better or what wasn't good enough. And I kept it to this day because that for me was the first time a judge had actually gave me so much constructive criticism that I could go home with and learn from. So I don't know where she is. She's probably having a beverage or having something to eat. But for me, that was really positive. And as a rider, I think the best you can ever ask for is someone to help you and give you the guidance to go forward. So I have to say thanks, Katharina. You're probably up there, but you helped me heaps. Oh, good boy.
We got 4 minutes. I'm sure we can fit a lot more words into 4 minutes. We can do lots more.
4 minutes with him or 4 minutes with everything else?
4 minutes with everybody.
Oh, then we're going to say goodbye to Ferramo. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Ferramo, the beautiful imported now gelding of Lyndal, said to make you feel good to ride him here in front of everyone.
I dreamt about. I've never thought I'd get to come on this night. Last time I competed here was 7 years ago in the outdoor up there with Weltspiel in Pre St George, and all I ever wanted to do back then was come in here and ride tonight. Now I'm here giving you the warm-up for everybody else that's going to work their butts off to entertain you tonight. So I'm still here and I'm happy to be here, and I'm a damn proud Aussie, that I can tell you.
Yeah, so, Lyndal, you are such a super ambassador, and I know what this horse means to you and to your family. And for us to see you back here, and it's where your life started about dressage, watching it in the 2000, from all of us, a big round of applause for you and Ferramo. What a super, super job.